This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by a British title challenger. And this Saturday, in fact, Tommy Frank. Tommy, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. For the second time today, let's not lie, Danny. Come on.
Oh, you just blown our cover. Yeah, so I interviewed Tommy this morning. This is Monday when we're filming this, so I don't know which day this will go out, but I interviewed Tommy this morning and then the file somehow got corrupted. So this is take two. And although we've opened up about that now, Tommy's going to pretend like he's hearing all these questions for the first time. And they're brilliant questions.
Exactly. I could think of worse things to do than speaking to you more than once a day.
Oh, you're making up for it now. And the feeling's mutual, of course. But yeah, you're going for the British flyweight title, vacant, of course, against Matt Windle. Just how excited are you now we're in fight week? And yeah, you've talked about the British title for a long time. It was going to be you and Sonny Edwards at one point, potentially. Carl Yusuf, that was even closer to happening. And now Matt Windle.
Yeah, super excited. You know, this British title fight has been literally a year in the making, because it were around this time last year when Dennis first approached about, you know, getting me the British title shot. You know, when we first went into the pandemic, you know, we thought that there were only going to be domestic fights happening. So that's when Dennis, you know, put the feelers out for the British flyweight title. And then we've just been trying to get it on ever since then, you know, through various things. The fight hasn't, you know, materialised. I had two international fights during that time. So finally I get my chance at that Lonsdale Belt. And here we are, Monday of fight week. You know, I woke up this morning, I had some butterflies already. So I'm very, very excited. I'm very pumped up. And I can't wait for Saturday now.
I thought you were going to say you had some butter. I thought you were saying, you know, you're on weight, so you could eat what you wanted. But butterflies makes more sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned the two international fights there. Obviously, they're the only two defeats on your record. We won't beat around the bush. Rosendo Guanaros, the first time shoulder injury, obviously forced you out of the fight, which was unfortunate. Second time for me, I felt was very close and could easily have gone your way, but unfortunately for you, went the other way on the scorecards. What have you learned from those two contests and that experience going into now a British title fight?
Just some very harsh lessons, to be honest with you. You know, from you know both them fights. You know, obviously the first one against Guanaros in December wasn't ideal. So I picked up a shoulder injury during that fight. You know, everyone knows what happened. And then the rematch last time out, you know, everything was just perfectly set up for me to, you know, hopefully get a bit of revenge, set the record straight. And you know, we followed a game plan on the night. And like I said, I lost on a split decision. You know, and looking back on the fight, it was just very, very frustrating, because, you know, the plan was to box and move and frustrate him. And I think we did exactly that. But looking back, we probably did a bit too much of that, you know. So maybe the game plan was perfect up until about round 8, round 9. And then watching the fight back, then I should have, you know, really went out and put my foot down and really cemented it. And I think if I'd have done that, I'd have won hands down. But like I said, when you're in the fight, and, you know, mine and Glenn's and the corner team's feelings was that we were getting the rounds in the bank. And I guess in the end, I just tried nicking it, you know. And I suppose that at the level that I'm boxing at, when you're boxing for international titles, maybe you can't just nick it, you know. But basically, it's just taught me a very, very harsh lesson that unless, you know, if you're not going to stop the guy, if you're not going to knock him out, you've basically got to do everything but that, and just leave no doubt in them judges' minds, you know, because clearly other people in the arena, and especially 2 out of the 3 judges, wasn't scoring it the way that I was scoring it and the way that Glenn was scoring it. You know, they had it a lot closer, in the rounds that I thought would, you know, was already in the bank. maybe they were being scored a lot closer. Well, obviously they were. So it's just, it's been a very, very hard one for me to swallow that last one. But, and I was hurting for a good few days after that. But it's just ignited a fire in me to just train. Well, I'm not going to say train even harder because I train hard anyway. But I want to prove people wrong, and the people that are saying, where does Tommy Frank go from here, and what's he going to achieve now? I want to basically prove how good I am, and I still don't. Although you've seen glimpses, I still don't think I've brought it all together on one night. I think that's still to come. So mainly, I've just got a point to prove, and I've been given this fantastic opportunity. As I've said before, a massive thank you to Dennis and Fight Academy and everyone involved in getting me this chance. Because coming off two, back-to-back losses, whatever way you look at it, that's what I'm coming off the back of. They got me a British flyweight title, which I've wanted since I can't even remember. And it's just a massive opportunity to set the record straight, get back to winning ways, and pick up this fantastic title on Saturday.
You and Matt Windle have sparred recently as your last fights each, which were within a week of each other, I believe. What do you make of him as a fighter, and how do you think he compares as a challenge for you to, say, Kyle, who it looked like you were going to be fighting for the British?
Danny, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just going to stick this. We can do this while it's recording, can't we?
Yeah. We can always cut out any. Well, maybe we shouldn't cut it out. It's quite going on a tour.
Exactly. I'm just going to just let me stick this line because I just think it's too. Is that going to mess with your?
Let's see when you're sitting there.
Or what?
No, that looks all right now.
Before
it was shining right on your face, but now it's fine.
That's better than just sat in dark, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt Windle, a very good fighter and a very nice guy as well. Like you said, we shared some rounds. So just before I boxed, the last time Matt boxed the week before me on one of the Fight Zone shows. So like the week before that, he came down. We sparred 8 rounds, and boxing's just a funny old game. Because who would have thought that like 12, 13 weeks later we'd be fighting for a British title? So that's just how boxing works. I don't take anything away from sparring. I never have. I don't particularly spar well, in my opinion. Out of 10 spars, I might have 5 where I think, I sparred well there. The other 5, just, a bit of a write-off, so it's like up days, down days, good days, bad days. But, the main thing is I can't afford to overlook Matt. If he's a good fighter anyway, the chances are he's going to up his game by, 10, 20%, because that's what British title does to fighters. When you get your opportunity, you automatically raise your level, and that's the same with me as well. I'm going to have to raise my level. So, he's a very, very worthy opponent. He's a game tough kid, and he's going to come and give it a good go. Just like it's a brilliant opportunity for me, it's a massive opportunity for him as well. And he's coming off the back of a good win last time out. Beat an unbeaten fighter in like a fight of the year contender. So yeah, I mean stylistically, I think it's going to be a bit different to what Kyle would be. Obviously Kyle he's quite big for the weight, like I am. Matt's a bit shorter. Obviously being quite a big flyweight, I'm used to boxing smaller guys, but on the same token, Matt's coming up from light flyweight, so I'm sure he's going to be used to fighting bigger guys. So everything kind of evens itself out. And you can say this, you can say that about styles, but on the night, basically, it all goes out at Windham. We're going to have a fight, and whoever's the better boxer is going to come out on top. And obviously, I'm thinking that's me. But all the best to Matt. I've got a lot of respect for him. We shared a couple of messages on social media after the fight was announced. got a lot of respect for him. He's a very good poet. You know, we've seen that before on some interviews. So yeah, I'm honoured to be sharing a ring for him, sharing a ring with him, and hopefully, you know, can put on a very good fight for the Sheffield crowd on Saturday.
Now, you mentioned his height and that he's been fighting at light flyweight just recently. How easy or not has it been for you to find sparring partners to kind of replicate that size when you're in the ring? Because although they might not be exactly the same style, you'll get an idea of your range and so on.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I don't really detail sparring too much. You know, like I don't sit down with Lynn, you know, 6 or 8 weeks out from a fight and say, look, we need to be getting in this sparring, that sparring. I'm just very, very fortunate that our gym, Sheffield Boxing Centre, it's just packed of all different shapes, sizes, styles, orthodox, southpaw. You know, and I've been at Sheffield Boxing Centre since I first started boxing, you know, since I was 13. And you know, always being a smaller guy, I'm used to sparring, you know, a lot bigger guys. Like I spar, I'm not saying I do 6 rounds with heavyweights, but when we're in the gym moving round, I'm sparring heavyweights, I'm sparring middleweights, lightweights, welterweights, and then I'm very fortunate that I managed to get some very good sparring leading up to this fight as well. You know, a few weeks back I was sparring with Jack Bateson, who had a good win on the Josh Warrington undercard. He's a very good fighter. I think he's super bantamweight or featherweight, very good fighter, very talented. So you know, and I've had other very good guys come into the gym. So I've just happened to drop on it with sparring, Dan. It's been brilliant. But like I said, I don't really focus too much on, you know, I need a short, stocky guy who's going to come forward. I use sparring for what it is and use it to sharpen my tools and work on little things that I want to work on. So yeah, but it's been brilliant.
Let's talk about the British title itself. You've been chasing it for a while now. When you think British title or Lonsdale Belt, what do you see in your head? What does it mean to you?
I'm just it just means everything. Like, it sounds daft, but I've for the past few weeks I've just been trying to figure out like how much it weighs and trying to picture it on me, like stood in front of the mirror, like imagine it on my chest. And
what have you been using to replicate it?
no, just in my head, just
right, okay.
like just stood in bathroom mirror and just like trying to feel like what the metal would feel like on my skin when they put it on me, just things like that. And it's just one of them belts where, you know, every British fighter, I'm telling you, it's like the holy grail of British boxing. You know, everyone wants that belt. You know, and I think if you box for it and you win it outright to keep it, that's brilliant. But just to win it, you know, just to win it would be absolutely, you know, one of my dreams coming true on Saturday if I could do that. And I'm sure you'll have heard, you know, winning that, I'll be making history. You know, Sheffield's first ever British flyweight champion, so going down in the history books. And it's not pressure, it's just added motivation. You know, it's just added incentive for me to get me excited, which I am. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and every British fighter's dream. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. I really am.
Is there anyone you can recall from kind of when you were a kid, when you were a boxing fan, who won the British title that you particularly looked up to? Was there anyone?
Yeah, Jamie Moore. I can always remember watching Jamie Moore win that British title, and I was watching a couple of his fights against Jones the other day. The first one, and then the third Jones fight, and I'd seen the fight, and like at the end when obviously he wins and they're putting the belt on. So I'm finding myself just watching British title fights, just so like I'm watching the fight and enjoying the fight, but more so at the end when they announce the winner, just seeing the belt being put on him and just like drooling over it. Sounds daft, but that's what I've been doing, mate. So I'm just I'm completely driven. I'm completely obsessed with it.
Why do you think it's the Jamie Moore one that stuck in your head most of all, or from when you were younger?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been a fan of Jamie. I've always liked Jamie. I don't think I've actually met Jamie, but I'm a big fan of him. I loved his style. You know, he had an all action style, but he was very. I think he were more skillful than what he got credit for, Jamie. You know, because he were brilliant at slipping. Slipping, countering, inside work, and I love aggressive, defensive fighters. You know, like Chavez. You know, that come forward, all action, but don't get hit. You know, they're moving their head, they're slipping, they're working inside. I think that's a brilliant style. So, you know, Jamie was definitely one of my favourites. You know, the Macklin fight, well, it's got to be one of the best British fights of all time. You know, it was absolutely brilliant. That was for the British title. So it just, so yeah, I can always remember watching Jamie, and I watched his fight against Ryan Rhodes as well, obviously from Sheffield. You know, he obviously he lost that fight, but that was a brilliant fight for the European title. So yeah, I've always been a fan of Jamie, and I can remember, you know, he had a brilliant story about the British title. I think the first Jones fight stepped in on the week of the fight. So, you know, 5 days notice, you know, he won the British title, and that was one of his big ambitions. So, yeah, I can always remember, you know, watching Jamie Moore winning that British title. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, you'll be hoping to emulate him, obviously, at the weekend. So fingers crossed for you on that score. And hopefully we'll catch up again after the fight when you might have a new heavy piece of metal either over your shoulder or around your waist.
I will have it, Danny. I will have it.
I'm not allowed to say that though, am I? I've got to be impartial. So
yeah, I'll have that Lonsdale Belt for you, mate. So you'll have to take a few screenshots at interview and that, and be brilliant. Yeah,
I'll look forward to it. Best of luck, and yeah, I'll see you soon.
Nice one. Thank you, mate.